Last November, we welcomed and condemned this Toyota MR2. About as rusty as a Titanic, this car is a death trap, only good for parts.
That is terrible. They aren't just rotten, they are disappearing.
And us not want to learn from our mistakes, naturally.
He bought another!
A dying engine and some rust issues mean the previous owner let go of this early MR2, which turned our hopes from a light project into a fully fledged mechanical restoration. An engine replacement like this is something that neither of us have ever done. But no time like the present. Let's begin.
Is she? Have you seen the smoke back here?
I saw what you're talking
Oh
about.
god, it's piss oil.
Yeah, that hasn't gone well.
Place it on a bit of wood. Oh my god, that's a
You got it else?
yeah.
He's a fucking beast. What the this guy?
But it's not that heavy.
And he says he's not strong.
It's like someone look it up online. That's got to be like
I don't know how much they weigh. I'll have a look.
less than 25 kilograms.
And after that show of strength, next is to drop the engine out. Please don't try our methods yourself. And after that, the harder part. We now need to move this car out of its storage area and into our own unit, stripped and into 1,000 pieces and not forget a single one, which means putting the car half back together to roll it over. Now the dirty work's all over and the car's in our new workshop, engine's out, let's have a look at what's actually going to happen with this thing. Seems like this is a bit of a graveyard at the minute. Behind me is the old 3S FE engine that came out of this car that's had a lot of metal shavings, a lot of issues when it was running, so that is effectively scrap. We also don't know what the miles of this is because the cable on this car died years ago, so absolutely not got a clue. And under here, something a bit more special. While the blue car from factory made about 110 horsepower with that FE engine, which really was an economy engine, this 2-litre 3S GE out of a revision 3 car is closer to 160 brake horsepower. This is something that we got for only about 100 quid off of a mate of ours around here that we're going to use to put in here. A little bit more complicated than that though. The easy things are going to keep the same, so the gearbox is going to be reused out of this car. That's absolutely fine. Going to change the clutch, going to change all of the gaskets around there, bar the head gasket, change the timing belt, full service, refresh everything in that engine, because really there's no point putting it back into the car without any of that. Now that is easier said than done. The problem is the wiring looms are very different between the two cars. It's not just a case of swapping the ECUs over from the car that had that GE engine and then putting it in this. It is going to be properly having to have the wiring looms spliced and redone properly. We simply can't do that. We haven't got that level of skill, but there is a few people on the MR2 lot that do know how to do this, that have done this work before. So that is exactly the route that we're going to be going down to get the wiring looms between those two engines spliced so we can have this car become 160 horsepower revision 1 Mark II MR2. Given that it's a revision 1, it's probably going to snap on us, so I hope not. And while structurally this car may be decently sound and has had a lot of welding already, there's still more to go. One of the sills is a little bit crusty, and now that we struck the interior out, we found another bit. Around the drain plug's okay. It looks like he's just gone... Looks like he's just gone a bit with overlay, and it's not even that bad past here. Realistically, it's solid. It just... This isn't even something that needs to be thought about. This isn't even something that needs to be cut and welded, because this isn't structural. This is just a floor pan. So we don't need to do this. This is fine. But why are we going to go to the lengths of changing the whole engine just to leave something like this, a bodge job behind?
I mean, the underside obviously does look a lot worse because there's nowhere near finished. This is just wire and then fiberglass filler that's put all over it. Basically, it's just going to be a matter of taking all this back, wire wheeling all around of this under seal to make sure that we've got some good metal to actually weld into, and just see how bad the hole actually was.
Thankfully though, this plucky little MR2 is not going to end up like the white car. We've put way too much time, way too much money into this thing here, so really we can't go back on it. And no MR2, or really many cars have I ever seen, have gotten that bad in 36 years. This, nowhere near that bad. So realistically, this is a good car to save. It's a bit of a shame that that white MR2 is going off the road, because that was quite a cool car, and that was a T-top car, which is what Toby wanted, whereas this one is a sunroof car. If we were really that bothered, we could make this into a T-top car. It'd be too much work for either of us. We don't have the skills, and also the roof panel that would have to be welded onto this car from the donor car, that's rotten as well. Jap cars. Toby wonders why I don't like them that much. But regardless of that, we're still saving this little thing. It's going to be a very slow project because, of course, this is going to take a lot. Me and Toby work full time. This is something that we do on the weekends, and this is becoming an all-out restoration. But given its time, given its patience, this thing will be on the road very soon. Thank you for that. Take care.